I'm Isaac Wells, and I'm an instructional coach with Henderson County Public Schools. In order to become readers, students must understand how printed language works. In school, we call these ideas about the text print concepts. Students must also understand what readers do. In school, we refer to these actions as reading behaviors. Some of our Henderson County Public Schools teachers will explain first what these print concepts are, and then how students will be asked to show what they understand and can do.
Hi, my name is Debbie Lanier. I am a kindergarten teacher at Hillendale Elementary School.
My name is Andrea Smith, and I'm a kindergarten teacher at Glen C. Marlowe Elementary.
My name is Beth Baldwin, and I teach kindergarten at Clear Creek Elementary.
As a beginning reader, it's often important to talk about where the book begins at the cover of the book. You know, children don't just know that you start there. You have to model those behaviors for them. And that's also something I would cover in a picture walk and talk about the title, the difference between an author and an illustrator, and then moving on into the title page that we talk about. The title page is telling you again that this is the name of the book, and that gives them a concrete representation of this book is about something. It's going to tell us information, or it's going to tell us a story about something. And moving on and knowing that where you start to read a book and where you would point if you were going to begin to read the story, and where you go after you read the first word. What do you do next? You move to the next word, and the progression at the end of the sentence to the next sentence, and at the progression from the end of the page to the next page.
Print concepts such as recognizing the difference in a letter and a word, and recognizing what a sentence is, and recognizing punctuation. Once they understand what those things are, as they begin to even pretend to read, they have some things to hang on to as they go through the text. Instead of just seeing a bunch of marks on a page, they understand what those things are, and they understand what a reader looks like, and which way a reader, which way he should go when he reads. And so even though they may begin to, quote, read, they begin to build that confidence that they can become a reader because they're acting like a reader.
So I always start with my kids on looking at the pictures and kind of trying to figure out what the story is going to be about.
When they understand that the picture can help them as well, it makes sense of the words. As you go through a book, and as I would go through a book sitting with a child or even with a whole class, we'd stop as we go throughout the story and look at the pictures and see how the words match the pictures and what else we can learn from the pictures as we're reading the book.
Now we're going to talk to you about the importance of children understanding that books are written from left to right and top to bottom. When we read books, we flip through the pages, reading the text and illustrations from left to right. Children are able to demonstrate an understanding of this by pointing where to begin to read, which is the first word on page 1, showing the direction we move across the pages from left to right and from top to bottom, showing that readers move from the end of the left page to the beginning top of the right page, turning the page when the student reaches the bottom of the right page. Children also need to understand that printed language consists of letters, words, and sentences. They need to know that letters or groups of letters make up words, and that groups of words, separated by spaces, make up sentences. Children are able to demonstrate an understanding of this by showing a letter, 2 letters, showing a word, 2 words, showing the first letter of a word, showing the last letter of a word, showing a capital letter, showing a lowercase letter, and showing a sentence. Children also need to understand that sentences are ideas that end with a punctuation mark. Students need to be able to identify and understand that a period, exclamation mark, and question mark each end a sentence. Children are able to demonstrate an understanding for this by pointing to a period, pointing to a question mark, pointing to an exclamation mark. Students will be able to tell that these are used at the end of a sentence.
Well, all of the skills that you're working on with a child take time, and it takes repetition. So just having that routine of reading a book with your child every night and going over those building blocks for reading, which are the front cover, the back cover, which way do we go when we read, what is a letter, what is a word, just repeating those things over and over are going to be what eventually makes it stick. It's not going to happen overnight. It takes time and it takes repetition.
And we have worked so hard building that foundation of learning that a letter makes a sound and a sound makes a word. And then to be able to put it all together and to actually read text is just an aha moment for those kids and such a self-confidence builder for them. Behaviors that we take for granted because they come so naturally to us, but as a beginning reader, it's something that's very deliberate and would have to be modeled to them as we're reading each day.